So I had no money. And so, like, what do you do for marketing? You knock on doors. And I remember knocking on so many doors one day that my knuckles started bleeding.
Hey, welcome to Voices on the Wind, a podcast about catching those ideas that whisk by our heads and turning them into what they are, something significant. I am Toby Lyles.
Maverick Lyles.
Which we discussed today. Probably should be saying, I'm Lyles.
Lyles. Maverick Lyles.
Hey, we're excited to bring you the second episode in season 2, but you want to tell them about the newsletter.
The newsletter, yep, we got the very exciting newsletter. Got a lot of fun stories that honestly I didn't even know you had. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I did not know that when you hooked a battery to your braces, that was new. I had never heard of that. I learned some very exciting things from him. Yeah, no, it's very good. And if you have not subscribed to it, you should definitely do that. That's VOTW.substack.com. Right?
Yeah, that's just lessons that I'm learning and that you're learning hopefully at some point here. Hopefully. Not that you're not learning, but you're not writing about it yet. And we're talking about those lessons from the podcast and how we're implementing those in real life. So we have a sponsor for season 2. So excited that Denise Patton is a sponsor. Yes. She is an artist at how about we just read it? So Voices on the Wind podcast sponsor Denise Patton serves as in-residence artist and gallery coordinator at Art at the Hines in downtown Cheyenne, Wyoming. Situated at 1602 Capitol Avenue in the heart of this historic western city. The gallery offers an eclectic, ever-changing collection of art for exhibition and for sale by 8 talented local and regional artists, including Denise, who creates her unique and beautiful art at the working studio here. For more information, visit the Facebook page, Art at the Hines. You know, when Denise and I talked about sponsoring, which, Denise, I'm just so thankful for you and your sponsorship and willing to roll the dice a little bit. We're all, this is an experiment for all of us. But what I liked was that she didn't just promote Denise, she promoted everybody else with her. And some of the podcast guests, which are yet to be disclosed, but are very exciting. Some of the keys that they've used is this win-win, where they promote other people, and then promote other people, promoting other people, they end up winning. So I love how she did that with this. If you have not checked out Denise's art, it is beautiful and is you need it on your wall. You need it on your wall.
Yeah.
So, or a great gift for someone else. It's hard to beat this personal custom art. We have to talk about Eric McDonald, which is not a have to. I'm very excited to talk about Eric.
Yep. Now he has a lot of good thoughts on how to. He was a businessman, but like he was an entrepreneur before he was an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. He ran he was in a job. His job was like painting houses. And he didn't know how to paint houses. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I'm going to paint houses. So he learned how to paint houses, had a bunch of gigs, did a lot of them by himself, tried to teach people, it was a hard route, but he went for it. He went for it all the way. And now those are the characteristics that have helped him like remodel houses. And now he's painting like crazy things on the side of like, what are the water towers? Yeah.
They're murals.
Yeah, murals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's crazy. So he has a really, really excited. I really actually enjoyed his whole story. Like guy's crazy awesome. I love that. So that's Eric McDonald.
I should clarify, he's helping other artists create the murals. He is the company side of that. So yeah, here we go with Eric McDonald. So tell me about those 3 startups that you did. I mean, you can do one startup, one little college pro paint thing. Why did you do the second one and the third one?
I had to get talked into it. The first year was miserable. I'll just be honest with you, it was terrible. You're going to school and they had these little workshops over the weekends, and they would teach you on how to sell and how to bid and just very basic functions on how to start a company. They spent no time on recruiting painters or how to paint, really. I mean, there was one weekend on how to paint, and you had a painting company. probably one of the reasons why it's no longer around is it had a bad name on a consumer point of view. Just they were we knew how to sell very well and had a market and everything, but the actual production was very lame. So I throughout the spring, I had got quite a few jobs lined up. As I was going to school, I was still going to school to become an engineer. I was in my senior year. I'd drive to Casper every weekend and do a bunch of bids, and I'd book work for the summer. And then I would also have to hire people in Casper. And so I also got married at the same time. And so we got married week after graduated. So very, very busy time of life for sure. It was very, very busy with graduating, senior design projects, planning a wedding, going on a honeymoon, starting a business in a town you didn't even live in. But I was able to sell some jobs, which really was good. I think I probably sold 30 like houses.
That seems pretty solid. That probably means you reached out to 300 people or something like that? 3,000?
So I had no money. And so like, what do you do for marketing? You knock on doors. And I remember knocking on so many doors one day that my knuckles started bleeding.
No.
We brushed and rolled every house. We didn't spray any houses. So, we're talking hand painting houses. We're talking 90-hour weeks, me painting almost everything and having a lot of customer complaints. When I mean the customer complaints, I mean about every house I had issues with, because I had all these promises. I was very good at selling, but I had never produced anything, never hired anyone, and there were just so many quality issues. I remember one time someone finally said, "Good job," and I thought, "Thank you so much." I'd painted for like a month and hadn't had really any positive interaction with the customer. I had a customer that literally cussed me out, F-bomb cussing me out, and there were just so many things that I was doing wrong. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of, for never ever. I had painted houses that year before, but I had never ran a business, and you just dove right into it and just went for it. And they didn't give you a whole lot of support, the franchise, as far as I was concerned, and just kind of left you out to dry. And so it was either like, all right, I guess you'll do it yourself. And so I would paint. I'd get up at 6. I'd probably be at the house by 6:30. I was newlywed. And I would stop work at 9 at night. That's when I would say I'm done. And so I was working from 6 to 9, and I didn't have time to eat lunch. I was losing weight. So I'm like 190 right now. Probably then I was probably 185. I got down to 160. And I was lean and mean, probably. I could do anything, but I was wearing myself out. Obviously wasn't good for the marriage. The first 3 months were miserable for me and for her, and because I was just working, and so at the end of that, I got the 40th house done. I produced like $117,000 in revenue. I remember that year, I think I made like 20 grand or something like that. And, I had this perspective of working the oil field, and I was like, man, I could have made more working for someone else. I certainly didn't work as hard as I did. And the franchise fees were actually more than I made.
Wow.
To kind of give you an idea of my perspective on them at this point. It was terrible. At the end of that summer, I was like, of course I'm never going to do this again. This was terrible. And so I'm hand painting houses still. Everyone else is spraying houses. They get it done 3 times faster than you do, and so they're winning bids. I remember one time I gave a guy a bid, and this is, I don't know, maybe the bid was $4,000, which was reasonable. I remember a guy just blowing me off, says, I got someone to do it for a third of the price.
Wow. There's no way you could touch it.
Not a chance. Well, if I was spraying it, maybe I could, but it was very demoralizing. I remember, I had tried to go to this guy's house many times. He was blowing me off. I finally met him at the door, wrote him a bid, and he gave me 5 seconds. He looked at it, then handed me the bid back and said, and that was what happened a lot, honestly. And I finished out that year because I was committed to my clients.
You're a mechanical engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you could have just gone from year 3 or year 2. You could have gotten a close, reasonable paying job. Why not?
I didn't even look. I didn't even look for engineering jobs at the time. I was still convinced that I could do it by myself. So over those 3 years, the one thing that college pro painters did give to me, I'll give them this. They allowed me to prove to myself I could do it. That second year, they really did help me. And then I actually almost the training wheels that they had really hindered me that third year. And I was like, man, I need to get rid of this franchise. I think I could do it so much better. And so I knew I could do it, but I had a non-compete. I was burnt out of painting anyway. I was like, I'm just gonna do something else. And I just wanted to do something else. And I think any entrepreneur has a lot of they're risky. They have a risky mindset, and fixing and flipping houses is pretty risky. But that's something kind of fun and so forth. And so I went into that and didn't even look for an engineering job. My wife had a good job up here at the hospital. We had some cash flow. And we came here. We came here with $10,000. Is what I remember in the bank. We had $10,000 to our name. Didn't have any other assets, no nothing, and lived in a rental and essentially started our life really at that point.
So you were like, well, I can do it. So you couldn't do painting, so you decided real estate. And you didn't do a job because too safe. Was it just that I can do it myself that College Pro taught you? Yeah,
I think it's what it was. I kind of got addicted, although I wasn't successful that third year or the first year. I got addicted to kind of doing it myself. It was something I was showing a passion I didn't even know I had. I'm a very independent person, which is there's a lot of pros and cons to that. In Wyoming, Casper, a lot of independent lifestyle. I'll do it myself. I'll pull myself up my bootstraps. And I did that as far as working hard. But then when I realized that my income could come from me just doing it myself as well and being independent, I think I kind of just was attracted to that as well. After you worked I didn't essentially work for anyone in those first 3 years. I was kind of out of the. After 3 years, you're kind of out of the network of getting a job, or you're now kind of a non-traditional student. And I don't know. I never was that interested in doing it. I don't know. I was just out of it enough to where I wanted to really, really try this entrepreneur thing by myself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And did it feel like that? Did it feel like, well, I was under a franchise for 3 years, and this 4th year, this is my turn?
Yeah, I think so. It was a totally different business. I remember I did a ton of reading. I bought workbooks and I learned how to market and sell to fixer-uppers. You don't buy houses on that are on the MLS. You don't look at Realtor.com when you buy a fixer-upper. You got to find ways to find these houses that aren't on the market, that are sitting vacant or are in probate, or someone just they're so dilapidated that no one's going to buy them and they're off the market. You can pick them up for pennies on the dollar, fix them up and sell them for a good profit. And so the one thing I've College Pro told me is you cannot start a business unless you know how to sell whatever. You could have the best production ability, but if you don't have anything coming in the door through sales, you're worthless. And so I knew I had to get some good sales things going on, but I had no money still. I mean, I really didn't.
Yeah, that's my question. You came in with $10,000. Thinking about a bunch of houses with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Let's see here. So I bought some signs. I essentially did the same darn thing as I did starting a house. I didn't door knock per se. What you actually did is I bought some signs, we buy houses signs.
Yeah.
But you could buy some lists on that were pretty cheap. through, I'm not sure what index they went through, but you could, like, if you wanted non-owner occupied, houses that had been owned by, for 30 years, these different ones, and you could mail them things, hey, and if you're interested in buying a house, I'd be more interested. And so the non-owner occupied was a big deal. And so you'd send them to whoever owned these, and you'd send out 1,000 and you'd get about one response.
Okay.
I think actually it was if you send out 1,000, you get 5 people about. And so I did that, and I had a couple people finally, everyone would call, and then it's like, okay, now you got to negotiate. And so, with selling, you're negotiating. But, I remember the very first house that I bought, the very first house I bought, wasn't even my house. It was a fix and flip house. I'm renting a house and I'm buying a fix and flip house.
That's awesome.
A little backwards. The real estate thing is still a wonderful thing in my life, and I really, really, really enjoy it. And I have income properties and stuff as well, and I still do it. And so that was a great chapter of my life when I didn't have kids. Yeah. So
very busy, I can imagine.
Kid number 1's on the way, and fixing and flipping houses, getting a good paycheck every 6 months. My wife was wanting to stay home with a child. It was like, okay, I got to do something differently. And that's when I started thinking I need to do something with more consistent income. And that's when I talked to that contractor, and he's like, man, we need a residence repaint company. And I was like, done. I know how to do it.
And I talked offline about that. You were flipping houses and you were talking with a contractor, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And you asked,
who was working on my house? He was putting he was putting an egress window in on my house.
Mm-hmm.
He was a general contractor. He built homes. He had other little side businesses, like this egress window company and some other ones. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. I think I'm going to do that. What would you recommend? And that's when he recommended that, right in my front yard. And I still chat with him today. I chat with him probably every few months. And it's amazing, where I've come since that conversation. I mean, it's been unbelievable. I think he's a little jealous, actually, to be honest with you.
He's like, yeah, we could use some painters around here.
He's like, I should have done that.
Yeah.
He literally, I think, said something like years ago. He's like, I should have done that. I recommended that to you. I should have done it. I mean, he does well for himself as well. But so that was in 2014. The summer of 2014 is when I started.
You bloodied your knuckles on your first business venture. Did you do it differently when you started your own? Did you knock on doors like crazy? Did you put up signs? Did you take it slower? Did you go hard? How did you change it?
Yeah, so I had a little bit more money. I mean, I actually did pretty well asset wise. Now, did I have a lot of cash? Not really, honestly. I had a lot of credit, but I still didn't have a lot of cash. But probably more. I hired 2 teenage kids that rollerbladed around town, and I went to Vistaprint and I printed off sticky notes. You can kind of have a little design put on a sticky note. We paint houses. And I hired them for $8 an hour to rollerblade around like Western Hills, around the point, and all that, and stick sticky notes on front doors.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I did, and it worked. I mean, it worked. I had my phone number on it. I could almost trace them or where they were by who was calling. Wow. I mean, and it was, and it just, this town, truly needed a painting contractor. That guy was right. You can't do, you might be able to do that right now. But I think the market's a little more saturated with like people like me, but there was no one doing much advertising where people were just, oh, here's a sticky note on my front door. I do need painted. Now I know who to call. And I had already knew how to do this. So we did pretty well. I mean, I remember painting my very first house because it was just me again. I didn't have any employees. I had my cousin work for me a little bit as he was going to school as well, but it was essentially just me painting, and I do the estimates, and pretty much from start to close, I did everything. And that first from July to the December. I think so I started late in the year. So I started the company in July. I probably started painting houses probably August. And I only did exterior. So August, September, October. I think I did like 60 grand in revenue. Probably painted 20 houses or something like that. But it came pretty easy. And I was like, man, that came pretty easy. I think I'm gonna go for it in the springtime. Just exterior painting. And my child was also born that winter, so I took the winter off. Essentially, I didn't know what was going on. My very first kid was being born. I literally took 3 months off. With exterior painting, you really couldn't do much in the winter anyway. I wasn't doing interior painting.
Were you scared in any of that process, starting something new? You seem like you're pretty driven.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like, and it doesn't sound like these ruffled your feathers too much.
I don't. I'm not very fearful. Personalities. Have you ever heard of the DISC? DISC personality. So I'm a D and an I. I'm D and a C. I'm a D and a C. Yeah. Okay. And so D.
The C helps you with the painting, I'd imagine.
Yeah. It's the conscientious. Right. I want things accurate. A D is more. I think it actually stands for dominant, I believe. Mm-hmm. That type of personality doesn't usually struggle with fear or anxiety. Mm-hmm. They got other issues. So no, I really never did have fear, and even to this day, I could be in the face of adversity and not freak out. Mm. That's one of the benefits of that personality profile. And so I wouldn't say fear. Probably one of the things that probably held me back. I mentioned independence. When you're running a little podunk company, and where it's all about you, independence can be a good thing. And but there's a saying: if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with other people. Mm. And I quickly, as I started building up on each year in this business, you quickly find out that your independence that you prided yourself with is also kind of your biggest detriment in some ways. And you get to a particular spot where where you hit your exhaustion point, and that happened with this company as well. I mean, each year, you do more, and to where I was in my exhaustion point happened when I was doing like $1.5 million a year. Okay, so I was doing way more than college pro. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the money's good, but it was just me, and then it was like this cruise. It had no managers, no salespeople. I was answering all the phones, and you're managing. Oh boy, how many projects is that a year? It's probably 400 to 500, a year.
Yeah, wow.
All by yourself.
Wow,
bidding. Answering every phone, bidding every job, hiring all these people, doing follow-ups. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, it's like, it was like, so like, it started off great. But like, I quickly found out that like my independence, that kind of got me through those first years. Mm-hmm. That D and the C eventually kind of, I wish I had more I in me, which is influence. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To kind of, influence people to work for me and do a better job. And so that was probably my biggest thing. That was I almost was fooling myself that the reason I'm being so successful is because I'm independent, I'm hardworking. And I could just get anything done. But the problem is like when you are so capable at doing stuff, you don't allow other people to help you. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon it's impossible to get to scale any higher, because I mean, you're only one person. You're only human. I mean, and you have a family at this point. I had 3 kids probably 2 kids at the time that I hit this breaking point, and you just can't do it. And so, learning to actually invest in other people other than just myself, mm-hmm. and rely on other people and trust other people. That was the big paradigm shift that I needed. That was probably 4 years ago. So yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the biggest thing. The other thing is, like in Wyoming, you are very independent from the outside world. You really are pretty sheltered. I've had to plug myself into national organizations that I go to their conventions. So I can get some information from people because, you don't share information with each other here. You're competitors. Or you're trying to like, put your best foot forward. You don't like share failures or weaknesses or, what you're struggling with. But like these national conventions that you go and you talk to other painting companies that are from all over the nation. All those have been amazing. I started doing those probably 5 years ago. And it's been really, really amazing. So that independence was really holding me back big time.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed Eric McDonald as much as I did. It was such a fun story. It was hard to cut it down. There's so many interesting pieces that he did, and a lot of themes that I'm seeing. One is that I just think is interesting. He is a hard worker and just worked hard. That was clearly a good theme here. Another big theme was that even though he was a college grad, he found success in the business world. And I keep hearing that, not that college is a fantastic thing to do, but I'm just hearing more people who are finding success, following their dreams. And it's easier to do them starting their own businesses.
Yeah.
So I just think that's really fun about Eric.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really cool. And how he had, and then he had went to college, but then was like, you know what, this isn't gonna work. This is not gonna work. So he's like, well, let's try something I kind of enjoy, and worked really hard to do that thing. It was just like, had no idea, there's no safety net. It's just, and I thought, yeah, that was really cool for me. And then perseverance.
Even if you went to, exploring this for just a brief second before we wrap up, he's an entrepreneur at heart. It seems, because he's quite the entrepreneur, but he's an engineer by training. But I'm sure that engineering mind is helping him every day as a painter and business owner. I guess I'm just saying that he was willing to take the risk on college, and whether it turned out or not doesn't matter, because it worked, because it led him to the next thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the steps to lead to the next thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I also want to say thanks again to Denise Patton for sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, and if you guys have not subscribed or followed to the podcast, you definitely should, because we have a lot of new and very exciting episodes coming up. We've had a lot of good ones, but we also have a lot of new awesome ones coming. So, if you haven't done that, please do, and happy sailing.